Look, I really want to throw it to you guys because little do you know, but you are part of developing the Aboriginal Housing Office strategy. Everything that we're doing here over the last day, today, everything, you know, things that people are saying, the ideas that we have, we need those things. We can't develop a strategy alone. When we needed to understand, and we still need to understand, you know, how can housing provide the best opportunity for people? And when you think about prosperity, that means different things to different people at different times in their life. It's quite a personal phrase. It is associated with choice and how you define it. I wanted to talk about the fact that, you know, increasingly we've got a demand for people who require housing earning under $45,000 a year at 11,000 houses across New South Wales. We are never going to build enough houses to meet that demand. And I talked about that a little yesterday. We have to start looking at, well, how do we provide the best opportunity with the resources that we have, with the skills and expertise that the sector has? Shane talked about university grants. You know, without being able to have shelter over your head, it's very hard to take advantage of any opportunity that comes your way. So it is linked. It is linked to those other big outcomes that mean that you're able to experience the life that you want, improved health and wellbeing, access services, raise your children, somewhere with a ramp when you're older, not having to mow at 7 acres of lawn as you get older. So I just want to pose that question to all of you, is that when you're never going to meet the demand for housing, that's not to say any government officials in the room may be looking at you, Treasury, that we won't be asking for money to build more houses, but what do we need to change about the way we do things in the services that Aboriginal community housing providers deliver? You know, we've talked about home ownership. We know that individual communities are talking about their individual and regional housing aspirations. We've seen that through listening to local decision-making priorities, through the Aboriginal alliances that are recognised across New South Wales. Their job is actually to go and reflect the needs of their communities and bring them back to the table. But when you think about how do you provide and facilitate that in somewhere like Sydney, where increasingly I don't know how anybody is going to afford any type of house. So is prosperity and shelter about secure tenure? Is it about looking at long leases so people can live big chunks of their lives knowing that they have stable accommodation? Is it about shared equity? We need to know from you what the needs of your communities are so we can include those for consideration in strategies. Wealth does mean different things to different people, and I think Will's going to talk a little bit about that and what does that mean going forward. You know, we spoke to the Australian Housing Urban Research Institute because we needed to bring together all of the information around Aboriginal housing, and there isn't too much around New South Wales. There's a lot about other communities across Australia. To begin to understand and ask the question to our stakeholders and our providers and government and our partners is, how does housing create or provide for opportunity and prosperity? And that door is open in terms of welcoming feedback. We brought the data together, we had to look at the research, we asked the questions, we had some workshops with providers around New South Wales. And, you know, it was very interesting when we were talking to providers about, you know, tell us about your good practice and wraparound services. And they're like, we do that all the time. We don't need to talk about that. We need to talk about new housing. We know our clients, we know our business, we know how to form those local relationships. And so let's talk about, you know, home ownership. Let's talk about affordable housing. Where is that? So it was very much, the conversation was directed by what providers were telling us. So I'm just going to shake it up a little bit in the morning and take the microphone around and can someone tell me what their views are in terms of how housing can create opportunity? Just a couple of people. I know there's some great ideas in this room and a lot of history, so it'd be great if we could begin to hear from you. Anyone? I mean, I can just talk, I can keep going, you know, I do it all the time, but good on you, Latina.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Latina Smith, Senior Project Officer, AHO Western, Far West. An idea, Shane touched on the education one with the scholarships with university at Dubbo, Charles Sturt Uni. Another option that I thought came up quite a few times yesterday was assets. And listening to the guest speakers from Noongar country, Western Australia, then we had twofold here in New South Wales. I'm not sure if it's been actually looked at or anything. Scholarships also need to embrace, there's a market out there in assets. And it's not about Aboriginal businesses that are already established, come and get them on board. It's about those kids, the youth, and I'll go on about the youth again as I did yesterday. Years 11 and 12, or year 10, you've got CONTAF. CONTAF, for those who don't know, CONTAF is very, very big in Western New South Wales with Aboriginal youth and sport. Why aren't we tapping into those type of youth forums that are there and actually saying, are you interested in becoming an electrician? Are you interested in being a carpenter? We're actually skilling up and being proactive in saying, we need these guys out here. Here's an opportunity. Let's offer some scholarships at TAFE. Your first year, we will pay for all your tools, your trades that you need. Your second year, give the incentives for them to finish the traineeships. Then look at actually building on businesses for those youth to be employed locally in their own country, on their own land. That's another option, university, but there's also the hands-on skill trade that we keep forgetting, and assets is a lot of money, especially in regional New South Wales. And it seems that over in Noongar country, they're starting to get that. Like he said, we've got a plumber, glazier, electrician. And I went, wow, we need that here. We need to start up our own youth that are coming through to say, here are some opportunity in housing for you.
Yep. Thanks, Latina.
I don't know if it's on the right track.
There's no wrong tracks. I'll leave it to you now, and would love to hear your thoughts at the end, and we'll take notes as we go along. But, you know, I almost feel like saying you're not allowed to leave the room until we come up with some ideas here. But look, thank you very much. I'll hand over to the next presenter.